The biggest counter-argument came from the Salke Dock project. According to Honorable Hanchel's answers to a series of questions from his attorney Ariel Mizik, former chairman of the Physical Planning Board, Earl Hanfield, also operated an employment agency. That employment agency, Honorable Hanchel testified, facilitated a group of construction workers who were employed with the company Projitect that was initially in charge of the Ritz-Carlton Molasses Reef construction on West Caicos. According to Honorable Hanchel's testimony, that contract was turned over to the Astrom Group, putting a number of workers facilitated under Hanfield's employment agency out of work. Mizik revealed that Honorable Hanchel agreed that Hanfield had asked the government to intervene on the issue, but was denied. Honorable Hanchel said that Hanfield became disgruntled by that decision and has been disgruntled ever since. 2 days ago, Hanfield announced his resignation, saying that Honorable Hanchel in the company of developers repeatedly asked him to call meetings to deal with specific developments. He said he felt uneasy with these practices, and in particular the Salke Dock project, where a previous recommendation rejecting the project was dismissed and the project was approved in what was being called a special meeting held on January 9th, a meeting that he said he did not call or attend. In relation to Honorable Hanchel's lack of full disclosure to the Registrar of Interest, he testified that prior to being elected in 2003, his only other experience in working in the public sector was as a customs checker in the 1980s. He testified that he had not been briefed orally or in writing with any guidelines on how to properly complete the Registrar of Interest. He reaffirmed statements made yesterday that errors made on the Registrar of Interest throughout the years were mistakes, and he has now learned through the Commission that they should have been dealt with a greater degree of detail. Honorable Hanchel testified that there was nothing corrupt or dishonest about the loans he took out from Saunders & Co. and the Premier, nothing corrupt or dishonest about the fact that a condo he owns is in the name of a company run by the Premier's brother, Charles Mizik, and another company which he also owns is in the name of a company run by Saunders & Co. He said there was nothing corrupt or dishonest about his proposal to the government on behalf of Caicos Oil, a company for which he holds 60% shares, to enter into agreement to establish extensive fuel storage facilities across the TCI. The terms noted in that proposal, as evidenced by Mill yesterday, were, quote, exemption from any tax on profits, gains, or turnovers attributable to the development for a period of 15 years, any real property, tax, capital levy, or other tax on capital invested in the development for a period of 15 years. Import duties, 5% customs duty on all materials, equipment, furniture, fixtures and fittings, and up to 4 tanker trucks for the depots and store facilities for the initial construction and outfitting of the development in any vessels to service and operate the facilities. Royalties to be determined per barrel of fuel for storage. End quote. According to Honorable Hanchel, those exemptions are standard in all agreements. He said the Turks and Caicos Islands have had struggles with fuel in the past, and it was his vision to have a storage facility that would not only service the TCI, but possibly the Bahamas as well. He said that that aspect of the project would provide revenue for the government through royalties. Honorable Hanchel again said that he felt that other companies could have put the idea to government, but they hadn't. He says that the agreement between Caicos Oil and the government has only been approved in principle, and there is still a long ways to go before everything is finalized. In relation to the issue of Crown land and the suggestion that Crown land was being put in the name of belongers unbeknownst to them, and then that land was being sold off to developers, Honorable Hanchel sought to clear up the matter by explaining the process of obtaining Crown land. He drew examples from the name that was brought out in Mill's line of questioning yesterday, Gary Lightburn. Mill evidence that Gary Lightburn, a man described by Honorable Hanchel as a boxer who, quote, ain't win a match yet, received 2 letters signed by Honorable Hanchel in December 2006 granting applications for conditional purchase leases on 2 parcels of land. According to Mill, Lightburn said he had never applied for those parcels. Today, Hanchel testified with evidence that Lightburn wrote letters to former Chief Minister Derek Taylor in 1999 and to the then Minister of Natural Resources, saying that he had been trying for more than 6 years to acquire Crown land, which he hadn't gotten. According to Honorable Hanchel, he assumed that Lightburn had received both parcels and was satisfied because he had never approached him about the so-called parcels that he had never applied for. Honorable Hanchel testified that he has never discussed disposing of the land with Lightburn. He never got any money from Lightburn relating to that land, and he never expected any. This discussion brought out the question from the Commissioner, Sir Robin Ault, who wanted to find out what happened to the land. Honorable Hanchel testified that he did not know. In further discussion of Crown land, Honorable Hanchel noted that there have been plans in motion to improve the way that Crown land is dealt with. He says that he is quite sure, but not 100%, that there are terms of reference in preparation for a new Crown land bill. He noted that there are also plans in place to computerize the land registry system. That plan is already in motion with the help of a Cayman group. Honorable Hanchel was scheduled to be further cross-examined by other representing attorneys. Next on the tentative schedule is the Premier's brother, Charles Mizik. For WIV4 News, I'm Joy Del Trail.